whispered logic puzzles. Thank you for joining me. I'm Andrea, and I'm going to play through level 29 of Sandwich Sudoku by Cracking the Cryptic. Okay, this is a 6-star level. And as I usually do with these puzzles, I find the 1s and the 9s. Here's a 1, and in this row, there will be a 3 between the 1 and the 9. So I know the 9 can't be here or here. The 9 could be here. The 9 could also be here. In this column, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 7. That can be done with 1 or 2 digits. That means the 9 could not be here. It could not be here, but a 9 could be here for 1 digit or here for 2 digits. Okay. I'm just going to go through and see if I can narrow anything down. I can't do anything in that row. Not in that row. Not in that row. Okay, since there's only 1 digit between the 1 and the 9, I know this cannot be a 1 or a 9. A 35, that means the 1 and the 9 will be at the 2 edges. So this will be a 9 since there's already a 1 in this square. Then there will be a 1 right here. So before I move on, I'm going to look at both this 1 and this 9. This 9, the digits between the 1 and the 9 in this row, add up to 11. That can be done with 2 or 3 digits. So the 1 could be here, or it could be here, or here. And down here, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 8. That can be done with 1 or 2 digits. So the 9 could be here or here. It could also be here or here. Now I'll continue. Okay, I can narrow this down because the 22 is at least 4 digits. Since there's an X on both edges, I can narrow this down even more. Let's say I have a 9 right here. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces that could not have the 1. So the 1 could be here or here. But let's say I have a 1 or a 9 here. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces that for sure could not be the 1 or the 9. So it'd be here or here. That means I know for a fact that these 3 spaces cannot be a 1 or a 9. Okay. I can't narrow anything down there. And I can't there. I've already looked there. And there. The only thing I notice here is that there's a 4 in the center, meaning there's going to be a 4 that's contributing to the 24. So I'm going to cross out a couple that can't be. Okay, I can't do anything here. Another 35. So I don't know whether this is a 1 or a 9, so I will put both. And then all of these X's. Then this is a 1 or a 9. Now looking in this column, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 13. That can be done with 2 or 3 digits. So up here, there could be a 1 here, or there could be a 1 or a 9 here. over here, there's just a 4 in between the 1 and the 9. So the 4 is either there or there, and a 1 or a 9 is here or here. Alright. Okay, what I can narrow down in this row is I know that a 1 or a 9 is here, because otherwise we could only have one digit between. So this is a 1 or a 9, which finishes this square. And in this column, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 6, which can be done with 1 or 2 digits. So it could be here, or here, or here. And now looking in this row, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 18, which can be done with 3 or 4 digits. So it could be here, or here. I can't narrow that down. Or that. Or that. Okay, I was just looking here, and I realized in this column, there's only one spot left for the 9. So right here is the 9. That means in this row, to make a 6 is just going to be a 6 because there's already a 2 over here, so I can't have a 2 and a 4. So that will be there, and the 1 will be here. That finishes off this square and also narrows this down to a 9, which makes this a 1 and a 9. And in this column, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 13. That can be done with 2 or 3 digits. Looking up here, I would say the 9 could be here, but I realize there's already a 9 in this row, so it cannot. So the 9 could be here or here. And now in this square, there's only one spot left for the 1, right there. I've already got the row complete. This column has a single digit between the 1 and the 9, which puts the 9 right there. And now in this row, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 12. That can be done with 2 or 3 digits. That means the 1 will be either here or here. Okay. This column only has one spot left for the 9, which is right here. And then this row, the digits between the 1 and the 9 add up to 7. That can only be 1 or 2 digits. So it can't be over here because that would be 3 digits. So the 1 has to be right here. And that completes this column, which means this square up here only has 2 spots left. This can't be a 9 because there's a 9, so there's the 1 and the 9. And now this top row has both the 1 and 9. This second row has the 1 and only one spot left for the 9, so I'll put it right there. this row there's a 3 between the 1 and the 9. In this row there are 5 digits that add up to 24. And there's a 4 included, so it could be one of those two. In this row there's a 6 between the 1 and the 9. This row has all of the digits. In this row there are 3 digits that add up to 18. I can't narrow it down further. In this row there's a 7 between the 1 and the 9. In this row there's 2 digits between the 1 and the 9. And in this row there's 2 digits between the 1 and the 9. Okay, in this column there are 3 digits that make up 13 between the 1 and the 9. In this column there's 2 digits that make up 6. That's a 2 and a 4. This row already has a 2, so this is a 4. And this is a 2. In this column there are 5 digits that make up 22. So it could be one of those. Interestingly, I noticed that both of these have a 2 and 4. These 3 digits couldn't be 2 or 4 because those are here. So the 2 or the 4 would be here and here. This row already has a 4, so this is a 2. And this is a 4. And then I don't know what these digits will be. Somewhere there will be a 3, but then there will either be 5, 8, or 6, 7. So anyways, back to here. All the digits will be here. Here there's a 7 between the 1 and the 9. Here there's a 2 between the 1 and the 9. Here there's 2 digits that make up 13. And I can't narrow it down further. Here there's a 6 between the 1 and the 9. And here there's a 4 between the 1 and the 9. Okay. So we did make some progress. Let's go ahead and go back through and see if by adding the things that we went through, we've narrowed anything down further. So this row again, we have 3 digits that make up 11. They both have a 2. And then there's 3, 4, 5, 6. So something I noticed, this one has a 3, this one has a 4. There's a 3 and a 4 in the square, which means this spot could either be 3 or 4. So now over here we're going to have a 2 and then a 5 or a 6. There's already a 2 in this column, so that makes this a 2. And this would be a 5 or a 6, but there's a 6 in this column, so this is a 5. And now I know this is a 4. So that worked well. Already got that. Okay, there's a 2, a 4, and a 7. And that is in both of these. This has 2, 4, 7. This has 2, 4, 7. Let's see. Let's look at this square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of these is a 6, but there's a 6 in this row. So this is a 6, then there's 7. That makes us 8. So now I know there's 2, 4, 6, 7 here, which means this digit is a 5. And then the outside digits of this row are 3 and 8. So this is either a 3 or an 8. And this is either a 3 or an 8. Okay. And I got that. That's all the digits. I know this can't have a 4. That's all. Got that. Nothing else there. There. either a 3 or an 8, which means this, which has both a 3 and an 8, can't be down here. That. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else for this. And, you know, in this column I have 1, 2. I don't have 3, so 3 will be here or here. 4, 5, 6. And I don't have 7, so that's here or here. So let's go ahead and put 3 or 7. And 3 or 7. Okay. In this column, the 2 digits I see up here is a 5, so it can't be 5 and 8. So this will be 6 and 7 in here. And there's that. So now I'm going to look at the squares and rows. I'm going to just try and find what we've got. So up here I have a 1. And then if you look at a 2, there's a 2 in this row. And a 2 in this row. So this could be a 2. Or this could be a 2. If we look at 3s, there's a 3 in this row. So this could be a 3. I have a 4, 5, 6. When I get to 7, there's a 7 in this row, and a 7 in this column, and a 7 in this column. So one of these two is a 7. And then we get to 8. There's an 8 in this row. So this could be an 8. Now one thing I noticed looking at this is that, well, first off, this can only be a 2, so let's put that 2 in. And now this can only be a 7, so we'll just do that. Well, that went much smoother. Never mind there. Let's come over here and see what we can do. Okay, so for 2, there's already a 2. There's a 3 in this row. So one of these could be a 3. And of course down here this is either a 3 or an 8. But I don't need to add anything to that. Okay, for 4, there's a 4 in this row, 4 in this row, 4 in this column, 4 in this column. So this is the 4. Before I go any further, I'm just going to finish this row. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes this a 5. Okay, so now let's go to 6. There's a 6 in these rows. One of these is a 6. And 7. Again, one of these is a 7. And then when we look at 8, one of these is an 8. And let's see if this... So, now in this column, I have a 4 up here, which narrows down anything with a 4. That means in here is 2, 5, and 6. Well, there's a 2 in this square and a 2 in this row. So this has to be a 2. And then either of these could be 5 or 6. And that means this cannot be a 6. Oh, wrong button, sorry. I had that there. Cannot be a 6. Alright. So we need to something. Notice this up here could only be a 5, 6, 7, or 8. So it can't be a 3, so I'm going to take the 3 out. Because there's going to be a 3 in here. Alright, let's go ahead and look at another square. Let's do this square because I only have 4 spots to fill in. So when we look at 2, these is a 3. And there's a 4. And then for 5, there's a 5 in this column. So one of these could be a 5. Then there's a 6 over here and a 7 over here. Then for 8, there's an 8 in this column. So one of these is 8, 9. So that means this is the 5. Okay, we have a 3 or an 8 here. And let's come on down here. There we've got 1. There's a 2 in this column, and this column. And this row and this row. So this is the 2. And 3. We'll have a 3 in this column and a 3 in this column. So one of these 2 is a 3. So 4 in this column and this column and this row. One of these is a 4. So 5 in this column and this column. One of these is a 5. There's a 6 in this column and this column, which makes this a 6. And then here's a 7. And then there's an 8 in this column and this column. So one of these is an 8. Let's see. Do we have anything? No. Actually, I do have something here, because there's 2 different options to make 18. This one is a 5, 6, and 7, but there's either a 5 or a 6 right here. So we can't have 5, 6, and 7 here. That means it's 3, 7, 8. That also means this can't be a 7, so this is a 6, which makes this a 5, makes this a 6, makes this a 7, makes this a 3, that makes this a 7. Okay, so now I know I've got 3, 7, 8 here. There's already a 3 in this square, so this will be the 3. And then there's a 7 in this column, so this is a 7, and this will be the 8. And I see over here this is narrowed down to 8, and to 3 right here. Alright, in this square I've got 1, 2, 3. Then when it comes to 4, one of these is a 4. Then I have 5. One of these is a 5. Then 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this row, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have a 6, so let's put the 6 right there. Let's come over here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 2 are both a 7 or an 8. And I don't see a way to narrow it down yet. Actually, let's look at this to make the 22. I have 2, 3, 4, 6. That means it will be 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Well, that narrows it down. That makes this a 7. This an 8. And I know that this is now an 8. And in this column I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes this a 5. And this is narrowed down to 3. Narrows this down to 7. Narrows this down to 6. Narrows this down to 3. Narrows this down to 8. And this is narrowed down to 4. And narrowed down to 5. Okay, let's look down here. I have 1, 2. And one of these will be a 3. And 4, 5, 6. For 7, I have a 7 in this row and a 7 in this row. So this is the 7. And then for 8, one of these will be an 8 there, or this is the 4 and an 8. There's an 8 in this column, so this is a 4. That makes this an 8. Narrows this down to 3. And this to 8, which narrows this down to 3. And this to 8. And this is now narrowed down to 5 and to 4. Okay, so in this square I've got 1, 2, got a 3 in this column, in this column, in this row, in this row. So the 3's right there. And then a 4, got a 5 in this column, this column, this row, this row. 5 is right there. And a 6 is the last one. And there we go, level 29